come to these events wanting to learn a story, to be inspired. Whether it be the story of a refugee coming to a new country or about the importance of women in science, each story has a message that can potentially change the way you view yourself or even the world. Now, we all have a story worth sharing, and today I'm lucky to be able to share mine with you. So where does my story start? Well, it starts at the middle-ish beginning of grade 7, which is when I started to get bullied. And in correlation with that, this is when my depression really started to hit me. And, to this day, I don't really know why this group of people started to bully me. They're making fun of my appearance, the way I looked, same thing, but, the way I acted. And like all people who get teased, who get bullied, it really starts to take a toll on you. And, I started to go out less, I stopped talking, I hid in my room, and I really started to give up on the things that I love to do, which is really sad. So I turned to the one thing that I loved to do, that I still kind of had a drive for, which was reading. And, reading really gave me comfort because in that time when people started to bully me, I felt really, really alone. At the end of grade 7, I was actually really excited to go into high school because there'd be so many new people, a new school, and I could be friends with, and I could just forget about the year before. Little did I know that the same group of people who bullied me in grade 7 actually told their friends who were going to the same high school as I was to not be friends with me, saying things like, "Oh, don't be friends with Hailey Clarke, she's a fat, ugly pig, and annoying, nobody likes her." And I even heard people say, "If you're friends with Hailey Clarke, I won't be friends with you." Yeah, not very nice. So again, I turned back to reading. I went back to reading because that was the one thing that gave me a drive that I really loved to do because I felt so alone. And I love this quote, "We read to know that we are not alone," by C.S. Lewis, because it really applied to me, and it still kind of does. Because the great thing about books is that when you start reading, you get lost in their world, which is great for me because I didn't really want to focus on what was going on in my world. So, I'm reading, feeling a little bit better. And this concept of reading to feel better is called bibliotherapy. And unlike conventional types of therapy, bibliotherapy uses an individual's relationship or issues and connects it to the content of books. So I started to overcome my own challenges by reading how the characters overcame theirs, which is really cool, I think, because I didn't have to go to a typical therapist. Unconsciously, I was giving myself bibliotherapy, and I was taking my anxiety, my panic, my stress, my depression, and related it to the way the characters are feeling in the books. And through reading those challenges, how the characters overcame them, I started to overcome my own. And this was great for me, because if anybody here has experienced mental illness or depression, you know that it really weighs you down. It's like one of those ball and chains, and you're like trying to go, but you just can't go where you want to go because the stupid ball and chain is like holding you back. And so I was unconsciously using this bibliotherapy to help me. And the reason why bibliotherapy is so effective for most people is because it takes a really basic hobby, reading, that most people enjoy to do, and most people can do, and it transforms it into something that can change your life. And it did for me. So I'm online, reading books, feeling better, and I stumble across a group of people called book bloggers. Does anybody know what a book blogger is? Just raise your hand. Okay, literally nobody knows what a book blogger is. And that's okay, because I didn't either. So I researched, and I was like, what the heck are these people doing? Is it just like a big group of like nerds who are like typing on, talking about books? And it's actually a group of people who love to read, like me. And they're taking their passion and putting it and making it productive. They're reviewing books, they're taking photographs of books, they're creating YouTube accounts, blogs, Instagrams, and they're connecting with people like me who feel kind of alone and have a passion to read. So finally, for like once in these past terrible few years, I finally had a passion to do something, a drive. And that was to, read more books and go online. So I started a blog, I started a YouTube channel, I started blogging, just reviewing books. And I didn't do this to get any sort of fame or any sort of like money. I did this because I wanted to. But what ended up happening is that taking this basic hobby and transforming it, regenerating it into something I love to do, ended up giving me more opportunities than I've ever had before. So I'm online blogging about these books, reviewing books, and I started getting emails from, small independent authors asking me if they could send their books to me so I could review it for them. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then I kept doing that, and then it kind of started to get more popular. More popular authors started emailing me, and then more popular authors, and then publishing companies, and then bigger publishing companies were emailing me, asking me for my opinion on the books that they were producing. And this gave me, for the first time in a really long time, a sense of purpose. I'm like, wow, people actually want to hear what I want to say. This is really, really cool. And it doesn't have to be books that get you out of a struggle or obstacle in your life. It can be dancing, drawing, golfing, robot making. Any passion that you have, anything that gives you a drive, that will help you overcome anything that you have. And I'm talking about this ball and chain thing, but those things that give you a passion, they'll make you go faster, and this ball and chain starts to get a little bit smaller, starts to get a little bit weaker, and eventually you can break off from that and continue to do the things you love and have more opportunities. It doesn't have to be bibliotherapy that gets you through an obstacle. It doesn't have to be reading. Anything that you love will help you get through an obstacle that you never think you would be able to do. I started out with a basic hobby of reading books, and now I'm getting emails from huge publishing companies asking me if I can have an opinion on their books and review it. I'm getting opportunities that I never would have had before. I regenerated a basic hobby into something I never knew that could happen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've already heard a talk today, and you're going to hear so many more beautiful and inspiring stories. But if you're just going to take one thing away from my talk, let it be to never give up on what you're passionate about. Because that thing, that drive, will take you out of any obstacle you will ever face in your life and lead you to do amazing things. Thank you.